What is happening? J Game Dude here, and ROM sites and stuff like that have a lot of traction and a lot of traffic because the games that are being offered are usually those that are no longer in circulation. I mean, how often can you really say that you can see a new copy of a GBA game in your local GameStop or EB Games or whatever have you, and note that that money is actually going to Nintendo and supporting the development of future games from that exact same studio? And more often than not, that's actually not really the case, because you're more or less just looking on eBay being like, why is this GBA game for like, $200? And then you realize, oh, it's probably just going to go to whoever the hell is selling it at most of the cost. I'm pretty sure eBay's going to take a small amount, or you sell it on the Amazon marketplace. So there's that kind of aspect to it as well. So ultimately, for someone like me who's been playing a lot of PSP games lately on my phone, let's talk about the taking down of Vim's Lair specifically, which is the oldest ROM site on the internet, and it got gutted by Nintendo, by Sega, and surprisingly, the ESA. Yeah, I did not think that the ESA had actually any right to, put through DMCA takedowns of content on the internet, let alone to a site like Vim's Lair. So interestingly enough, I found out about this through some ordinary gamers Mudahar. So definitely this video is actually attributed to him. So I did want to talk about this from my perspective as someone who is currently playing through games that are in fact no longer in circulation. And if they are, it's most likely going to be sold for $200 to $300 per UMD on either eBay or Amazon or other places where games are just so much more damn expensive than it has any reason to be. But let's just read this update from Vim's Lair on June 6th, 2024. Vim's Lair has been asked to remove many games from the vault on behalf of Nintendo, Sega, Lego, and the ESA. While most of these games and the hardware to play them haven't been sold in decades, ultimately it's their prerogative, so these games are now gone for good. And it's really, really unfortunate to, read this and actually see that, because again, there are people who out there want to play, old NES games, old Sega games, like games that aren't even being, offered in circulation anymore, that aren't being made by the same publisher, that have physical copies that are around. And ultimately, physical doesn't last forever. Yep, the packaging, the plastic can degrade over time. It takes a long time, but it can and does still happen. And so the easiest way to kind of really be able to keep things moving forward is to back those things up, and that's why preservation is seen as like such a key thing. However, there are mentions of preservation, like for example from Xbox, i.e. Sarah Bond during the Xbox showcase that happened, which was a great showcase, don't get me wrong, but it kind of feels like a backhand that you get from when she was talking about that they're looking into preservation and things like that being a priority, but then immediately going and saying, also, here's the digital only console that we're also going to be selling. It just seems kind of off, since DRM or digital rights management still hasn't been sorted out after all of these years, since digital distribution started really sort of taking off since 2010, 2011 really. And over time has gotten significantly worse as far as like the actual services provided, also the overall amount of games. It's kind of the exact same idea as watching anime from official streaming sites versus other streaming sites. Those other sites you don't have to pay money for, and you can get access to them pretty much as soon as possible at a higher quality, but at least it's not being messed with by translators that are, messing up, that are making official translations that are messing up the whole thing, or intentionally making the quality lower, or giving you access to episodes on other sites that would normally be considered for the uncensored Blu-ray that you need to pay like $90 to $120 for. Same idea. It's just we aren't being offered a lot from official sources, so you kind of need to go out of your way to find those games through other less reputable means, so to speak. And ultimately that's kind of why it's there. worth mentioning here. So here is kind of just the main body of the article. But though Vim's Lair has agreed to these takedown requests, it is not shutting down. It continues to archive old game manuals, provide emulator advice for newcomers, and provide ROMs for a wide variety of games and retro consoles that don't exist anywhere else. As to why they may be a target to a takedown request now, it might stem from the approval of emulators from mobile stores. So this is where emulators are now being considered more commonplace, given that now Apple has kind of given the okay to be like, okay, we can allow emulators on our store, kind of moving forward. In Vim's case, they even openly thanked a new wave of traffic to their site thanks to the Delta emulator that got approved for the iOS App Store. To say some companies are not happy that multiple tech sites are reporting about how seamless and easy it is to get RetroArch running on an Apple TV these days is likely an understatement, and I'm sure Nintendo, Sega, and a lot of old companies like Atari are probably sweating right now, but I digress. Let me know what you guys thought about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 300 subs by the end of the year, and yeah, I upload every day. Now, worth mentioning, but my viewership has gone down a cliff since June 1st, so it would certainly be much appreciated if you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and do all of those sorts of things, because it really does help the channel. But yeah, with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.